Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Discipline Therapy Talk. I'm your host, EL Discipline, and today's topic is going to be character analysis of power dynamics, BDSM, titles, and compatibility. So, this is like a part two of the power dynamics that I did on my own on the Discipline Therapy podcast. So, before we get into it, I want to tell you, if you're on the YouTube, because I got a lot of people who say that the videos are not clear, whatever it is. I know that I record the videos in like 4K. So this is what I want you to do. I'm going to educate you because a lot of people are not really technology savvy. They don't know certain things. So I'm going to educate you. If you're on the YouTube, there should be this washer like kind of like the washer that's on here that goes on a nut, that goes on a bolt. It's like a icon looking. It's on the bottom right. It's probably like a settings icon. When you hit that, it's gonna show you the megapixels of the actual video. Yours might be on 480, which is like the lowest resolution. You can change that by clicking on it. You're gonna see an array of different megapixels. So you go to the highest, which is like 1080. Usually 4K is 2160. You might have that on there, but go to 1080 HD, it should say. Once you hit that, you're gonna see the video be crystal clear. All right, so now I got that out the way. If you want to be part of the show, you could go to info@eldiscipline.com or www.thedisciplinetherapypodcast.com. DM me on one of my social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook. So we're gonna get into it. I wrote down some notes so I could keep on track, because you know me, I could talk for hours and I get off topic and whatever it is, stories, etc. Um, okay. So we're gonna go through what a dominant is, the traits, what they possess, a brat, a submissive, a little, a baby girl, a masochist, a sadist, a master, slave, mistress, switch, dominatrix, femdom, madam. Now, all right, I'm gonna go through what a dominant is first. A dominant is synonymous with power, control. Now, I got a DM like in the past where a young lady, maybe she saw my stories or my erotica posts on Instagram or something like that, and she was saying to me on DM, um, "Ooh, you a freak, you freaky," and I'm like, on the other side, like just like this, with my hand on my brows, and then I reply like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, well, this is attractive because a lot of men are boring, especially in bed. They don't like to articulate what they like, what they don't like. They just go with the flow, right? This is her words verbatim. And so I'm like, so why do you say I'm freaky? She's like, you're into that dominatrix shit. So me, I don't like making people look stupid. Like, I'm not gonna call you out and say you're dumb, because there's things that I don't know, and I try to research as much as I can before I open my fucking mouth. Whether it's going on somebody's post, comment, or whatever it is. Like, I always do my research and I get all the information, whether it's a lifestyle, whatever it is, right? Allegations, all of that. Really don't get into that gossip stuff and all that other celebrities and all that. I don't give a fuck about that. But I get all the information before I say what it is. So I said to her, you're mistaken. Allow me to educate you. Dominatrix is a female sadist. And she was like, what? Like, what is a sadist? So I had to explain what a sadist was. And then I said, what you probably mean is I'm into that dominant shit, you know? I'm into that dominant lifestyle. Or more exact, I'm into that BDSM shit. I'm into that BDSM lifestyle. And I'm gonna differentiate. A dominant is a noun. So I asked her, I'm not trying to make you sound dumb or anything like that, but do you know what a noun is? And she laughed, LOL. Yeah, it's a person, place, or thing. Okay. Dominant is an adjective. So when you say you're into that dominant lifestyle or dominant shit, it's saying you're into that thing or that person. So I broke it down. Dominant is assertive. Dominant is like overpowering. That these are adjectives that's synonymous with dominant. But it doesn't mean like a person could be a dominant person, like a bossy person. It doesn't mean that they're a dominant. There's a difference. So I'm breaking it down for it. My hat says dominate. Another person in the past, another female, said, you're a dominate. And I had to correct her. I can't be a verb. She laughed and I explained, because I love to teach. Like, I'm not gonna just call you dumb and then not give you the education. Because, like I said, we're all ignorant in something we don't know. It doesn't mean we're not smart. We're all smart because we probably know a lot of information about one thing. Some of us are intellectuals where we know a little bit or a lot about everything. So I said, I can't be a verb because that's what you do. Like, I dominate. That's a verb. I can't be a dominate. I can be a dominant. The noun, a dominant who dominates daily. So I broke it down. She's like, oh, okay, I really don't understand the lifestyle. So this is why I like to teach, because there's not a lot of education out there pertaining to this. So, you could go back to BDSM 101. I don't want to spend too much time on these. Okay, somebody who is a dominant isn't necessarily dominant. And I'm going to elaborate. Because when you're dominant, it's an adjective. It's something that could be part-time. It's something that could be you're dominant in certain circumstances. Like you are microphone dominant, but you're not a dominant person. You are basketball dominant. Like Kobe was ball dominant. Michael Jordan was ball dominant. These niggas didn't like to pass. Whereas like a LeBron James is a pass guy first. Steph Curry's a ball dominant. He's shooting the ball first. He's not thinking of passing. You see what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean they're dominant people. In their lifestyle, they can be something totally different. You see what I'm saying? So, like, a dominant is different from being dominant. So when you're a dominant, all of those things that dominant that like if you're dominant, the adjective may not coincide. A dominant is a protector, a dominant is a teacher, a dominant is a leader, a dominant guides, a dominant is an educator, a dominant empowers, a dominant is respectful, a dominant is emotional intelligent. You may be a dominant person, but not a dominant. Women in this modern era want a dominant, but they don't realize it. Like a man that is comfortable in leading in every capacity could be a dominant. But a man that leads in basketball, maybe he's a coach of something, a teacher, a governor, whatever, but he goes home and he's submissive, he's beta, he's not a dominant. He's not dominant either, the adjective. He may just be dominant or an alpha in certain circumstances or an environment. Women want men to lead. This is supposed to come natural. That's a dominant trait. That's a dominant power to lead. Like, you can't get this in men that are just dominant. You see, because a man could be dominant, he's bossy. He may not know how to lead. So I just want to differentiate with that. I don't want to go into depth of what a dominant is. I want to run down these things. Go to 101 BDSM on the Discipline Therapy Podcast, episode 12, season 1 finale. Now, I'm gonna get into a brat. Now, a brat, in my opinion, is a lazy dominant. You're like, I'm confused. Let me elaborate. Chapter 3 in the seduction of discipline, substandards, I differentiate the different types of subs, and a brat is in there. A brat could be synonymous with a bottom. However, a brat dominates from the bottom. And I'm going to give you an example why they're a lazy dominant. A brat is bossy. A brat can be manipulative because they want control. A brat can make me do this, do that, not follow your direction because she feels like she's gonna get you out of character to get her what she wants, maybe a spanking, maybe punishment. And that is like synonymous with a masochist also. That is her reward. Just like a caller said in the last show, she would be that way. Now, a brat can be a dominant, but this is why they're lazy, because they don't take all the responsibilities a dominant would have to take or want to take or need to take. The responsibility, the leadership, the guiding, the holding the accountable. No, that's why I say they're a lazy dominant. They rather dominate you how they want to be dominated, and that's a reward to them. But meanwhile, they don't have to do anything with the relationship. They'll go in the relationship 50-50 because they don't want responsibility. Versus going in the relationship like, yo, I'm the boss. They're a lazy dominant. That's what brats are to me. A submissive. Now, a submissive and a masochist are different. A submissive may have masochistic tendencies and may just be in the bedroom. Physical. It may just be in the bedroom. Psychological, verbal. I'm going to get to that. A submissive is a people pleaser. A submissive gets gratification from pleasing. A submissive has beta energy. That's what I gravitate towards in the woman. Beta energy, because that is synonymous with feminine energy. Now, like I said on a show prior on the Discipline Therapy Talk, I only gravitate towards the alpha female if I can benefit from that. I'm a businessman, I'm a hustler. So if she's like that, okay, we can build together. But I don't gravitate towards the alpha because I'm an alpha. So if you're bringing that energy in the relationship, I'm going to overpower you and put my foot down and say, yo, this is the dynamic. If you don't like this, you can get out because I'm not transitioning. So who's going to transition here, because they can't be two bosses in this relationship? So I gravitate towards the alpha as far as you being a boss outside of me. But but understand that when you're in my presence, I'm the boss automatically. So that's the only time I'll gravitate towards the alpha, if I can use her efficiently where it's gonna benefit me and I can take us to heights beyond our imagination. But I don't gravitate towards the alpha female. I gravitate towards the submissive, the beta female. Now, there might be, like, let's say we're building together, we're gonna close property or whatever it is. I need you to be that shark. Okay, that's when I'm like, oh, the alpha. I'm away, I'm at work, you're at home taking care of the kids. That's when you need to be alpha. But it's just like the carnivores, felines in the jungle. They're alpha when the kings or the dominant king is not around. But once he's around, they automatically resort back to the lieutenant because they know the general is there. Okay. So The submissive is a people pleaser. The submissive enjoys catering, and that's where they get the most gratification. They give without wanting anything in return, because them seeing you happy, it is sufficient for them. That is their gratification. You have bedroom subs, same thing. She could be giving you head. She gets gratification from that. She gets wet by your moans, or if she's pleasing you, she's looking up, you're pleased. She's getting wet from that, sexual sub. Psychological sub. You tell her, good girl, I'm proud of you. Give her words of affirmation. I did an evaluation. I'm pleased with what you're doing. She gets gratification from that. The things that you provide her is a bonus. So a submissive, which is the noun, she's 24/7. Her submission doesn't come with conditions. This is who she is. It is part of her identity. It doesn't matter if you're a shit guy and you're not fucking providing. She is that way in her relationship. She wears her heart on her sleeve no matter what. This is the submissive. A little is also a submissive. It's not age-based. Could be a 50-year-old woman, could be a 25-year-old woman. A little requires a lot of direction. A little requires a lot of assurance. A little is compatible with a daddy, because daddies are like softer doms. They're more catering, and they're more tending to your needs. They'll give you direction all the time. A little needs constant direction. Like, what am I doing now? What do you want me to wear? How do you want me to act? Da 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 da. They constantly come to you for insurance. They could be clingy. They need words of affirmation constantly. A baby girl. A baby girl is emotional. A baby girl loves to feel cuddly. She wants to cuddle with you all the time. She could be needy. She needs words of affirmation as well. A baby girl, like I mentioned in the power dynamics episode, they are compatible with the daddy dom. The daddy dom is more softer, but he's still firm with the leadership, the teacher, the guiding. The baby girl always needs that emotional connection with you. They could be sapiosexuals, you know, they want that connection. That connection thrives them. They like little things, like let's go back to a little may like stuffed animals, coloring in a book, sucking her thumb. Those are certain rewards you could give them. A masochist is synonymous with the brat. A masochist, the noun a masochist is in the entirety. If a woman is a masochist, she is a masochist physically, emotionally, and psychologically. Unless she says to you that I am a physical masochist. That means punishment to her physically is a reward. It's not a punishment. So if she is not getting that part being fed, she may act like the brat to get it. Push your buttons, emasculate you, cut you with her words, to get you to push up against the wall, choke her, fuck her rough, spank her till she's red, bloody, whatever. They get gratification from that. It's therapeutic. They are compatible with the sadist. The sadist is a person who loves to inflict pain emotionally, psychologically, physically. And it might be in every every environment. It doesn't have to necessarily be in the sexual environment. It could be in public. They could be verbally abusing you. Now, if a sadist gets with a submissive or a little, that's not compatible. Just like I talked in that episode, The Power Dynamics, because a submissive may have masochistic tendencies. It may just be sexual. Fuck me rough, da 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 da, spank me hard, pull my hair. excessively, leave me a bite mark, bite me hard, bite my titty, suck on my titty hard, whatever it is she wants that is rough and to her standards that is therapeutic. However, she may not be a masochist emotionally and psychologically, verbally, etc. So if a sadist gets upset or whatever, like you worthless piece of shit, bitch, whatever it is, that's gonna hurt her feelings. She might cry, she might feel a type of way, she might feel like you're disconnecting with her. They're not compatible. But if you have a masochist may come out and say, "Oh, I'm your bitch though, daddy." It gets her wet. Like that's also the brat coming out. The little sarcastic remarks and smart mouth shit. She's getting turned on from that. It doesn't phase her. The master. The master is compatible with the slave. The master is higher than the dominant. The master can teach, guide, protect. The master, he engages in TPE, which is an acronym for total power exchange. So when you get to that master level and you have a slave, they may agree to her not no longer needing a safe word because she trusts him 100%. It's like, take me however you want. Even if you bruise me, I don't want to use a safe word. I am at your disposal. Use me how you want. They might just be in a sexual environment. She's down for whatever. Total power exchange. She is submissive 100%. No matter. They walking through fire. He says, "Give me your hand." She's not questioning him. Not saying that like I would say that a slave is synonymous with a queen. And this just may be my opinion. But when a woman is your queen, she is synonymous with ride or die. Ride or die, in my opinion, is the highest level of loyalty you can have for somebody else. She is your Bonnie to your Clyde. As long as it's within her limits, but she doesn't have a lot of limits. Like we all have limits, whether it's moral limits, religious, whatever it is. Yo, let's rob a bank right now. That may be a hard limit for her, but hey, let's do anal. Hey, let me bring another girl in. You like her? Oh, cool. She's down for that. She's down to go wherever you're willing to go. That is a slave. She doesn't have limits. She might relinquish her safe word. She will follow you blindly. A submissive always has limits until she is that level of a slave where she's like, you know what? I want to engage in TPE, total power exchange. I want to relinquish everything. I trust you 100%. I'll follow you blindly. No questions asked. You tell me to do something, no back talk whatsoever. The mistress. The mistress is synonymous with a female dominant. Her counterparts are sissies, which is not a derogatory term in BDSM. Submissive guys, beta males, whatever it is. Sissies, male slaves, right? The mistress dominates. The switch. The switch can play multiple roles, but the main roles is dominant and submissive. So if you have a female switch or a male switch, he or she can be both things. I could be dominant in my day-to-day and submissive and submissive in the bedroom. I could be dominant in the bedroom, submissive in my relationship, submissive in my day-to-day. Man, woman, I could be dominant in the bedroom, submissive in my day-to-day. I could be dominant, a boss, CEO in my day-to-day, submissive in the bedroom. Switch, which is synonymous with like an alpha submissive. Now, the dominatrix, which I mentioned earlier, is a female sadist. We've seen images of the dominatrix. She's in like some latex boots, latex lingerie. She has a whip. She usually has her heel on the back of a man's back while he's kneeling to her. We've seen those type of pictures. She dominates men. Now, I had a recent follower who DM'd me and said, "You should bring a female dominatrix on your show." And I said, "That's intriguing, but no." She said, "Why?" I said, "Because there's nothing for me to ask them that I don't know myself." She says, "Elaborate." I said, "Okay, do you have time?" She says, "I got time." So I said, If I ask a dominatrix, why does she do what she does? She's gonna give me one or two answers. She may not admit this and say it's a stroke to her ego to have men submit to her, right? Knowing that women were born having the lesser genes, they were oppressed for so long. 60 years ago, they got rights. They didn't have rights, not even 100 years ago. It's like they just got rights. So it's a stroke to your ego to probably dominate men. She probably won't say that. Maybe she will. That could be one. The other thing could be, well, you know, these men are willing to do it, so I'm doing it. It's just like having $100 in your pocket and then you see $100 on the floor. Hey, I'm $200 richer. So those are one of the things. So I'm like, mm, I don't, I don't even want to bring them on. Plus, if I do a character analysis about them, where does this stem from? Because this is not female nature. This is not how women are born to be. Women are not born to conquer, especially men. So where does this stem from? I may look in depth of childhood trauma. Did you grow up without a father? Because if you grew up with a father, you would learn to respect authority if he was a dominant leader, if he was still with your mother. So you're going to see that in your household and you're going to base this is how relationships are. Because when we are little, psychology and behavioral scientists say how we view the world when we're young, we view it as we're older, especially the domestic environment. So if you grew up without a father, that would make sense. There wasn't an authoritative male figure in the household. So you might grow up being a misandry, which is like male hating. All men ain't shit, so I'm gonna treat them like shit. I'm gonna use them for their manhood and dick, but I don't give a fuck about them. They're all cheaters. You start generalizing. Um, it can stem from that. You probably didn't have a good relationship with your father because how female nature is, the father is the first male that you see prior to dating anything outside of that. So your relationship with his is paramount. So when you don't have a good relationship with your father, he wasn't there, banging you, whatever it is, which is uncommon because more fathers are like, that's my baby girl. They treat them like princess and everything like that. They get along with the opposite sex more than their actual sons. They treat the sons harder and they treat the women more softer and treat them like princesses. They spoil them. That's why I say it's not common. Now, when a woman has a good relationship with her father, her relationships are different. But if her father wasn't around and she doesn't have a good relationship with her father, then this is the result. You have to understand that women seek characteristics in men on potential mates that their father possessed or possessed if he's no longer on earth. Now, let's say your father was strict. Your father was a dominant person. He didn't let you do shit. You're going to gravitate towards the bad boy because the bad boy is opposite of that. You grew up in a house of restrictions. The bad boy hates restrictions. You grew up in a household of rules. The bad boy breaks rules. Hey, baby girl, let's sneak into the movie theater. Ooh, um, we're waiting for our food right now. There's not a lot of people around. Go into the bathroom. Let's go fuck. But daddy, are you sure? There's more males in here than females. So that means there's not a lot of women in the female bathroom. So go in there and check. I'll be in there shortly. Text me. But what about cameras? Oh, I already scoped out the place. Oh, so there's no cameras? What about the bathroom? No, they wouldn't be in the bathroom because that's against our constitutional right. You can sue for that if there's cameras in the bathroom. Oh, daddy, you're so smart. Now they go fuck in the bathroom. Doing some crazy shit. Oh, let's go to the park. Let's go fuck in the park. They're doing things that is breaking the rules. Now, ladies and gentlemen, don't do the things that I'm saying without doing your research and scoping shit out because if you get caught in public, that could be jail time. So don't be like, oh, when you getting caught by the cops, oh, this has been told me to do it or whatever. Do like be meticulous. You know what I'm saying? And plan prior and scope everything out and be attentive. A lot of people have a short attention span. So, just make sure you got all your ends and you got an exit plan and all of that planned out prior to you even trying to do that stuff. But those are just examples. This is the bad boy. But the bad boy still has characteristics of the father. Let's say the father held you accountable for your actions. Oh, you snuck out, blah, 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 blah. He maybe spanked you, gave you corporal punishment. A lot of Caribbean households are like that, Hispanic households, right? Or he grounded you. Oh, I'm taking your phone off for a week. That bad boy still has those things. Oh, yo, you looking at other men when we go out? If you ever touch another man, again, even if it's a flirtatious way, you're laughing, you know what I'm saying? It's over between us. Or I'm gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Or yo, I don't want you doing that, carrying yourself, you posting that or whatever. I don't want you. He's putting certain laws down. He's putting his foot down, putting you in your place. Those are the same things. She had probably hated that with her father, but the irony is she's still gravitating towards it with the bad boy. So this is what I mean, where these things could stem from. Why is the dominatrix a dominatrix? It could stem from all of those things. But also, what if she's getting paid to do that? Now, a lot of people don't talk about this, but there could be a wealthy athlete, actor, governor of a state that is dominant, and that's how he has to be in the day to day. But he's really submissive because what matters is behind closed doors when the cameras are not around and in his relationship. So he's rich. He probably hires a dominatrix to dominate him. Huh? You probably never knew that because I've heard stories from mistresses. So he probably hires him, tie him up, whatever, spank him, do whatever it is. It's therapeutic because, hey, I gotta go through all this stress, making all these decisions all day long. When I come here and, but even if it's to my wife or whatever, and she could dominate, they might pay them to do it. So that could be an incentive for them keeping in the lifestyle. There's no love involved. Now it's easier for a woman to acquire money from men and sex easier, quicker than a man can do it with a woman. Think about it. A female stripper makes more money than a male stripper. Why? Because even though there's more women in this world, the only women that are willing to hire a dominant or whatever it is, not saying that I've ever did this for work or would, because the connection factor would fuck with me. I wouldn't be able to channel my emotions too long thinking that this is just a business because this is my identity. I live this 24/7. I don't just do this part-time. Maybe somebody that does this part-time can do it for bread. So that dominatrix, that stripper can get money from older guys, rich guys, young guys even, because there's a world of thirsty dudes out here. The only women that's paying that guy would be older women, 50s, 60s, maybe divorced or whatever it is. They got a settlement deal from there. Now they're rich. Desperate, lonely housewives. These are the only ones that I could really think of that would be doing that. Now, we look at OnlyFans. You think I'm gonna spend bands for OnlyFans? No. At the end of the day, I could call up a chick, whatever. She's flying out here. She's paying her own ticket to come see me, and she could give me a strip tease for free. I'm spoiled. Why I gotta pay OnlyFans? The irony about these men that patronize these women is they turn around and look down upon them. They don't respect these men. They utilize them. They use them for their gain. They tell them everything what they want to hear as well. It's like sugar daddy, sugar baby relationship. Some women are sugar babies in the closet. Some women are opportunistic. Some women love men opportunistically. We'll talk about that season 7. Now, that may be a thing. Femdoms, madams as well. That may be a thing for them. The ego, the stroke to your ego. But at the end of the day, they're still women. They meet a man like me. I walk into the room. My soul dominates yours. Your body starts tingling. Even a non-heterosexual woman, who the fuck is that holding a pussy like, oh my God, why the shit throbbing? I can't stop this. His fucking voice is dominating me. Why am I attracted to this guy? I don't like men. I hate men. I don't like men. Why am I attracted to this guy? Because when a man is in his divine masculine, it doesn't matter what type of woman you are, you gravitate towards him. This is polarity, sexual prowess, sexual charisma, sexual polarity, psychological polarity, emotional polarity. You touch her in all ways, mind, body, soul. So she starts to see that her body, the tingling, the throbbing, the wetness, her mind, her emotions, her soul is already submitting to you before she even puts it in her mind. She's fighting it. I don't fucking like this guy. Maybe it could be somebody who grew up thinking their father or mother tell him not to date black guys. I, I don't really like black guys. I mean, do I? I was taught to date white guys my whole life, or Italian, or Hispanic, light skin, white skin Hispanic, or whatever it is. Not a moreno, not a dark skin Hispanic. I don't. What? Why is this guy so attractive? I've never dated somebody like him. I never knew this. I've never tried this, but I want to. So all of these things are the result as well. At the end of the day, all of these things in a woman that I mentioned, she can be depending on the man, how he holds himself, and how he's going to stay steadfast in his beliefs and his law within himself, and how he holds himself, and how he's going to hold her to the same standard or higher. It's not the same thing with men. You can't, if a man is a sadist, a master, um, a, um, dominant, a dominant, submissive, alpha, beta, you can't change him. It's not the same because men, it's just in our DNA. Like, and we even have history where women are just complaining that my man will never change. He keeps cheating. He keeps doing this. I can't change him. I can't. It's it's not common for men to change for women. They're gonna change on their own. If it benefits you, it benefits you, but they're going to change for themselves to better themselves. Women are inclined to change for men because women give their all to men. So at the end of the day, a woman can be many different things in the hands of a right man. You got to understand that different men bring out different results in women. It's not often the same. It's not often the other way around. It can happen, but it's not often the other way around because a real alpha dominant man, he moves at the beat of his own drum. You see what I'm saying? He moves at the beat of his own drum. But you have to understand how female nature is, and women will adjust to the men that they associate themselves around always. And that's because women give their all versus a man giving his all. So at the end of the day, you know, you could have a brat, you could have a little, you could have a baby girl masochist, whatever it is, even a dominatrix. She thinks she is a femdom or whatever. She met a lot of sissies, a lot of beta males in her life. She meets a real man, and now she's like, ooh, he's all man. God damn, I want to submit to him. Huh? So at the end of the day, it comes down to the man and how he's leading. A lot of women want these providers, these protectors, these leaders, but they are saying that they want dominance, and there are only 2% in this world. You're inclined to getting with a weaker guy. You're inclined to just getting with the straps, and you're going to settle. You know what I'm saying? Because you cannot train this man to be this way. He has to want to be this way for himself. He has to want to level for to himself, and then you will level up to him and adjust to him. You know what I'm saying? It could be, a man can be like, "Oh, why are you not submitting to me?" Just like the caller said on the last show, "You're not showing me anything about you that's dominant." You can't even lead your own life. Why would I follow you? You can't control shit. Why am I going to allow you to control me and the relationship dynamic? So it comes down to that. Men have to just step up. And this shit right here is not a game, because once a woman submits to you, she becomes your responsibility. And that's a lot of things. That is a thing that is a kryptonite to a lot of men. Responsibility. And women, most women, not all, most women, their kryptonite is accountability. So it's like those things are synonymous. When a man takes responsibility, there's going to be accountability with that. He's not just going to let you do whatever you want. The highest status, dominant alpha male that you get with, there's gonna be standards that come with being with that guy, because he holds himself to a high standard. He carries himself in a certain way. He might have a reputation. He might be respected by others. And if he is claiming you, he's gonna want you to be a reflection of him. He's not gonna be having you looking out here looking crazy, doing whatever you want, posting whatever you want, and he's looking crazy. Like, people are like looking at him like, wait a minute. Then looking at her, yeah, I don't respect that nigga. Like, she's doing this and they're together. Yeah, that, like, they might not put it two and two together that they're beta, but they're beta. You know, a man that can be like, oh yeah, we live together. Sometimes she's the boss in the household. You're beta too. I don't care if you're 6'8", 250 pounds, got a lot of muscles. You're dominant in your entrepreneurship day to day with other people. You're beta. And the biggest misconception is people think that when you get in a relationship as a man, you need to simp now. No, you don't. Me, on the other hand, the more I love you, the harder I become on you, because there's different conditions now than we were when we were starting out. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be, oh, you gotta carry yourself a certain way now on social media. Take this down, take that down. But before, when we were dating, it was like, she don't really belong to me. So my love is different. But most men, when they fall in love, they get all this way. Like me, I get lovey-dovey still. I'm still very more, like, my affection level goes 10 times. Those are gifts. One of my love languages is physical touch. But I don't simp. You're not gonna see me getting you flowers. You're not gonna see me, if that's not something that I like to do. I'm not a flower buyer. I'll buy you rope. You know, so I'll leave you welts. I'll give you orgasms, bite marks. Those are gifts. But, you know, to me, it's like a lot of men do simp when they fall in love and they end up settling. So, these are all these characteristics that knowing yourself is imperative. And when you know yourself and you can dominate yourself, you'll be able to dominate other people. So like I said, it doesn't matter about the woman, it matters about the man. A submissive always shows you what type of dominant owns her. So at the end of the day, when you look at her and you're like, oh, she's submissive, you don't need, that man could be fucking non-existent. If she says she's owned, you could study her mannerisms and you could tell, yeah, he's probably keeping her in check. If you see her submissive and she's just doing whatever she want to do and she's bratty and all that other stuff, she's probably with the weak guy. She's probably with the soft dom. She's probably with a beta dominant, beta alpha. You understand what I'm saying? So I like to educate in the most adequate way and give examples to make people understand, because there's not education like this out here. So I might keep doing these BDSM segments. I don't know, we'll see. But I really thought it was imperative because, and I want to try to bring a male dominant on the show to get his perspective and how he leads, because I bring a lot of females. They don't know themselves. They don't know what type of subs they are. And I shouldn't really be asking the females because they're not leading in that relationship. What a sub doesn't know has to do with the dom that she currently has or didn't have, because he's supposed to be teaching her. He's supposed to be guiding her. He's supposed to be educating her. Yo, this is what I see. I have great eye discipline and I know psychology and I great character analysis. I could already see what you are quickly by your looking into your eyes, your mannerisms, physiology, body language. So you're attentive. So you're able to pick up on these things. This is what type of person you are. These are the toxic habits I don't like. Change these. We need to work on this. This is what a dom should be doing, just like a boss of a job, evaluating her. Because at the end of the day, this lifestyle is not a hobby. It's a lifestyle for people. It's not a kink. It's not a fetish. It's a lifestyle for 5% of people. And when we live it adequately and 24/7, this is what we think. So we put in the work of all these other things. When you are with people that aren't 24/7, you're gonna get this. So I always say a lot of you subs didn't even experience the full-blown lifestyle of BDSM or a dominant. Y'all, I don't believe y'all had doms. I believe y'all had dominant men, but y'all never had doms. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, a lot of it comes down to that. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, you were tuned into Discipline Therapy Talk. Peace.